welcome back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder real play podcast. I am your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is...
Adam, and I play Jules, an Azoketi Bod.
I'm Joel, and I play Dax, a kobold rogue.
Brian, I am Tough, an automaton inventor.
Taryn and I play Waltz, a human champion.
Awesome. Well, last time on Mortals and Portals, Waltz got into a scuffle with Geldir, a super intense fight in the kitchen using, utensils and, leaping over islands and things like that in the kitchen.
Tongs!
Yeah, it got pretty intense. You guys got really heated. I described it as being incredibly loud, yet you guys had to wait, 3 rounds to hear it.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah,
I thought someone said,
something's going on down there. Yeah. Then you guys rush down there just in time to see Waltz almost kill Geldir but decide not to, and then he just stormed off in a rage. Yeah, and I guess if you don't remember, the reason he wanted to kill him so bad is because he basically saw an alternate reality where everyone's happy and alive simply because Geldir died in episode 2 instead of lived to go tell Krim and all this stuff that led to everything that unfolded. And so then Tough had his first conversation with Geldir, got to know him a little bit, and Dax patched him up a little bit reluctantly. Meanwhile, Jules ran to the upper deck of the ship and just hung out with Waltz while he blew off some steam. And they shared a drink, chatted a bit, checked on the type of headspace that Waltz is in, and then, felt like they were ready to go on with their adventure. And then you guys tied Geldir up, left him just bleeding, I guess, in a cupboard or something. I don't really understand how that worked, but maybe you wake up in the morning and he's alive, who knows. Yeah, so then Tough went to go visit him, and then he wanted to have a spicy conversation off air with Geldir. So they turned their mics off and they had a little bit of a conversation that seemed to have something to do with Dunedast.
That's all Tough talks about.
Yeah, that's all. Tough is just dude, I get it. Your dad died recently. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it ended with Tough blowing his head off. Oh wait, no, not blowing his head off. Shooting him with the healing shot, which was super dramatic. And then he said, "Get some sleep. Geldir will be at Mazevo in the morning," and that is where we ended our session. So that is where we will start, sort of start our session. It appears to be morning now as you all awake to the sounds of a beautiful melody flowing down the stairwell towards your rooms. It's entrancing, it's calming, and you feel compelled to follow it towards the upper deck of the ship.
Tough will have already been awake and just reading through Dunedast's journal, perk his ears up. Well, that song sounds familiar, and make his way towards the deck of the ship.
Stirring awake a little bit, Dax will turn to where Waltz is laying and, "Hey, Waltz, you hear that? Waltz."
Yeah, must be, time to get up,
I guess so. I've never heard anything like that.
So the three of you meet in the hallway and start making your way up the stairwell, turn the corner, following the tune, and see Jules playing his ocarina. Adam, I don't know if you'd like to describe what Jules looks like, maybe his demeanor.
Yeah, Jules is sitting on the bow of the ship, kind of over the edge, just kind of laid back and relaxed, just taking in the morning air and playing this melody.
And as you guys look towards Jules while he's playing, although he's a ways off, as you near closer, you notice the traces of gold in his eyes seem to be glowing subtly.
Tough will know not to interrupt Jules while he's playing his ocarina and just quietly make his way over next to his bud.
I'll go ahead and take a seat next to Tough. Tough, does he do this often? Look at his eyes.
Maybe not the watery eyes, but playing his flute thing, for sure.
Pretty good song.
Waltz will just walk towards the music and enjoy the morning, the sunrise, and this pleasant song, and sit down by Dax.
As I finish the song, almost entranced myself and just lost in it. I haven't even noticed that the fellas have joined me now, so I'll lower my ocarina and turn around. Oh, morning, fellas. Didn't even hear you come up.
Tough will think back to when he first heard that song back in Jules' origin, when he was using it to distract what's the bird's name?
Captain Perry of the Fancy Feather.
Yeah, that guy, Captain Perry, acted as a good distraction to be able to steal at the time and just say, still playing that one, huh?
Oh, yes, tough. And he'll look down at his ocarina. This melody has been with me since I was a child, even before I even knew how to play an ocarina. It's beyond having a song stuck in your head. It's almost as if I feel it from my chest. I play it whenever I find myself missing home. My parents. Kyra. Anyway, I figured if the melody isn't going anywhere, I might as well put some words with it and turn it into a song. So, just going through some verses, I suppose, figuring out what words feel the best.
Jules, what's your favorite song you wrote?
Oh, there's so many to consider. Depends on the mood, I suppose. Although, something about this one feels different. I plan for it to be a ode to Jules. A story of my life, I suppose. My own personal shanty.
So is it true what they say about all artists being narcissists then? And he jabs at Jules.
I suppose it's true. Very excited to show you all this song. It's just not ready yet.
Can't wait to hear it.
You know, Jules, something tells me there's plenty more of your story to come.
I think you're right there, Waltz. Well, anyone up for breakfast? Should we see if, what's-his-name is still with us?
No, I'm starved. I can't wait. Anybody know how far we are away?
Right as you say that, you just hear, hey, land. Oh.
Ugh. Benjamin, how long have you been standing there?
And who are you calling a hoe?
I was just waiting for Jules to finish whatever he was. I have so much respect for Jules, so I just
Oh,
was, waiting.
thank you, Benjamin.
Yeah, that
It's very kind of you to say.
song is beautiful. I don't suppose I made it into your lyrics at any point.
You were at one point. I felt it rude to say those things, you know. My mother once said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Yeah, your mother sounds
I'm
like
kidding,
a nice
of course,
lady.
Benjamin.
Oh, okay.
Benjamin, of course you're in it. Of course you're in it. I'm just kidding.
Pretty blatantly.
In fact,
I
maybe
don't
we
think
should
I
cut
could-
that, because
I
I don't want
think
Jules
I could play
to...
dumb to that one.
Maybe we should just cut that. I don't...
No, it's fine. You can keep it, Joel.
Jules is a nice guy. This is Adam being a jerk.
Joel, keep it. So yeah, off in the distance, you guys faintly see Mazevo sort of obscured on the horizon. A cliff edge with carved structures into it. I'd say we'd be there in about 30 minutes. So if there's anything you guys need to take care of before we get there, you should go ahead and do that.
I'll walk past Benjamin and give him an "Aye, Captain," and a pat on the shoulder, and I'll head to the kitchen to scrounge up some food.
As Jules walks off, you all see Benjamin subtly look over his shoulder as Jules is walking away, and a proud tear goes down his face, and then he wipes it real quick. Yeah, I'm the captain. And then he just walks off.
Tuffle mumbled to himself, the kitchen. Oh, crap, Geldir. Shoot, hopefully he didn't bleed out. And Tuffle run off towards the kitchen as well.
I'll look to Dax. Yeah, what do you think we do with Geldir?
Gosh, I don't know, Waltz. It's hard to believe you kept him alive again. I'll be honest with you, but Tuff did have a point. You know, we don't want to rouse any suspicion when we get to the port. Dax will look Waltz in the eye and say, what's your heart telling you?
Waltz will try and organize exactly how he feels in this situation and think that the reason he didn't kill Geldir was because then it would just be, you know, another loss in this world for his daughter to handle, which is unfair to her. But I guess he'll question if that really was a real story or just want a little confirmation that he made the right decision. So I think he is going to open up that letter and read what Geldir would have had me give his daughter.
Waltz, you pull out the envelope, hold it gently in your hands, scanning down parchment that has various splotches of blood, wrinkled corners. You can tell this has been through a lot. And you remember pulling out at least a piece of it before and reading the first couple lines and immediately putting it away when you could tell it was truly addressed to his daughter, or at least it appeared that way. But knowing Geldir, always full of deception, you decide to open it up completely and read its contents. And as you read it, you can't help but hear it in Geldir's voice.
Oh, if you're reading this, it means I failed you for the last time. You probably thought me dead, and now I truly am. I can't tell you where I've been or what I've done, and not that I deserve your trust, but I hope you believe that's for your own safety. I'm sorry about your mother. I'm sorry I abandoned you. I know now we should have left Legothessi together, but I was too scared to lose what I had made, and instead I lost what had made me. The truth is, I was afraid of raising you without Venna. She was everything I wasn't. Loving, compassionate, selfless. I was so sure you needed her more than you needed me that I robbed you of both of us. I see that now. You may have put all this behind you, so I'm sorry if this causes you further pain. I just want you to know that I've never stopped trying to get back to you. Not for redemption. I'm well beyond that. But because I've finally lost enough to know what truly matters. I wish we didn't have to suffer to learn such things, but perhaps I'm more stubborn than most. I love you, El. Thank you for being the only beautiful thing I've ever made.
Yeah, my heart's telling me we made the right choice. And I'll just reach overboard and drop the letter.
I'll put my hand on Walt's shoulder and just look at him for a minute and eventually say, "It's all I needed to hear." And then I'll kind of give my knees the old Midwestern slap, stand up and... Well, Waltz, suppose it's time I get packed up. Dax will head downstairs to get all his gear and everything assembled for the port.
All right, so Jules and Tuff, you've descended into the kitchen. Were you going to the kitchen, Jules?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you guys doing?
I'll walk in and can't help myself. Have to go just see Geldir, just look at him. I don't know why. I just feel like I have to. And I'll go and open the cupboard or the closet or whatever. Hopefully he's asleep and there's bright sunlight or something from the window that just hits him. Anyway, so I'll open the door. I'll kick him in the sole of his foot. Rise and shine. And then I'll turn around, and at this point, I'm just grabbing like a pan. I'm grabbing some stuff from the fridge, some eggs, some milk, some cheese, and just kind of prepping some breakfast stuff.
You notice his eyes adjusting to the light.
Oh, you mind untying me there, Jules, since you're in such a merry mood?
Why don't we let you wake up a bit more first? How many eggs do you want?
Really? Well, I'd say half a dozen. I'm starving. It's not easy only eating after your guys' scraps.
Without saying anything else, I'll just start cracking eggs into a bowl and just start making eggs, man.
I don't suppose your cat friend's out there?
I believe he's about to come in.
Tuff will then arrive after chasing Jules to the kitchen in a huff. Oh, Geldir, you are still alive. That's, relief?
Why you sound so
It's
surprised?
something.
You thought I might die in here? Then why'd you leave me in here?
I think I was just fine with whatever happened.
Okay.
You seemed rather excited to come in here and check.
That's fair.
Fortunately enough for you, we need you alive at least until after we get to Mazevo.
And why is that?
Yeah, why is that?
Well, be kind of bad if we turned up with a dead guy in our broom closet.
I suppose that's true, and I'll crack another egg.
Geldir just makes like a, yeah, like that's true kind of face. as he shrugs.
Anyways, Tough, I don't suppose you got a knife on you? Cut these ropes.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
He just glares at you, like, don't you remember what we talked about last night, sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. Give me a sec while I clean off the one that's got your blood all over it.
All right.
And Tuff will just start whistling as he waddles over to where Jules is cooking, posts up in the sink next to him, starts scrubbing off the knife.
Tough, are you sure that's a good idea?
What's the worst that could happen? You saw what Waltz did to him. Not like he's gonna try anything now, especially with 4 of us around.
I suppose that's true.
Plus, I think he might be afraid of this right now. And I shake the knife towards Geldir and sense his reaction. What do you think?
He rolls his eyes.
I almost had him.
Fearless now. And Tuff keeps scrubbing at the knife. Man, how much blood did you lose on this thing?
How clean do you need that thing? It's just for cutting a rope.
Yeah, good point. And I'll make my way towards Geldir.
He watches you every step of the way, looking at the knife and then looking at you like you better uphold your end of the deal.
I just take the knife and motion up, like, stand up.
He looks at you like, seriously? And then he starts to try and shimmy, like as he's completely bound, trying to get on his feet, stumbles a few times, hits the wall.
Are you really going to make me do this?
Well, you want to be out of the
standing?
ropes, don't you?
I'm as tall as you all, sitting down.
Yeah, well, maybe I don't like that.
You want me to be even taller than you? What?
Yeah, I like it down here.
All right. Okay. And then he stands up all the way. You can tell he's in a little bit of a pain.
Ooh, these suckers are on tight. I don't blame you. And I'll start sawing at the ropes.
Yeah, didn't seem to care while I was sleeping.
And you cut your way through the ropes. And he wiggles his arms free as they fall loosely to the ground. You see him rub at his neck, and you hear some cracking as he adjusts his back.
Oh,
Without really looking at him or making a fuss, he kind of just goes and grabs a knife and just sets it closer to him.
Oh, you got nothing to worry about, Jules. I like fish.
That sounds like a threat.
Does it? Well, maybe that's your problem.
And he walks over. He says,
Are those eggs about done?
Yes, sorry, it took a while cracking all 6 of your eggs.
I haven't had a proper meal in months.
Yes, just spending your time drinking all of our rum, I suppose.
Well, it curbs the appetite. Plus, you drink like a fish, so probably wouldn't notice. If I ate 6 eggs, probably pick up on that. Not Waltz, though.
Hey, come on.
looks at Tough.
Because he's stupid.
Come on, stop.
Geldir got out.
Yeah, I always kind of assumed that. And Tuff will go over and start making some coffee in the kitchen as well.
All right, so Jules, you wrap up cooking breakfast for everyone. Tough, you have like a tray of coffee, and you all start making your way up to the deck to finalize any plans that you need to do. And as you're walking up the stairs, Geldir pauses for a moment and grabs Tuff's shoulder.
Hey, mate. Do Waltz and Dax know that I'm just up and walking about?
Let me handle that. And I'll hand him a cup of coffee.
All right.
And he gives a cheeky smile and drinks the coffee. He's having a good morning.
And before Geldir walks away, Tuff will put a hand on him and stop him really quick.
Yeah.
By the way, I know we've got a deal, but I hope after that takes place, you don't intend on screwing us over.
You guys aren't worth the trouble anymore. Assuming you don't stand in between me and what I want.
So I have this new feat called Lie to Me.
Okay.
And
Oh, I know that feat. That's a good feat.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't
wait, hold on, stop. You just reminded me. Let me just say it real quick. You guys are all level 5. All right.
Yeah,
You
we
just
know,
reminded me. I know
Zach.
you guys know. You guys are level 5.
Wow, we
I gotta
actually
tell
let the viewers
podcast
know
for a
in the
podcast.
episode that we turned
Yes,
level
yes.
5,
Oh,
sort of.
and before I forget, you guys
What
all
is it?
received 200 gold just in your time
What?
in
Wow.
Nisserine and like helping, you know, get things
I'm
up
leaving
and
you all
going
here.
and just going through Scale Keep and just finding various things.
I
As
am
of
very
all-
rich.
Put
would
this
use
in
that money
aggressive
to tell Benjamin
401k
never
and
to
I'm
talk to me
retired.
again.
And you still can.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I have this new feat called Lie to Me, and I don't know exactly how it works, but I would like to use it on Geldir right now just to kind of get a vibe of what he's saying.
You know, that makes sense because Ryan has continuously been telling us that he has no idea how to play tough right now and hasn't spent any time reading any of his abilities. So when you say, I have a new feat, I want to use it right now, I don't know how it works. That makes perfect sense.
So it says you can use deception to weave traps to trip up anyone trying to deceive you. If you engage in conversation with someone trying to lie to you, use your deception DC if it is higher than your perception DC to determine whether they succeed. This doesn't apply if you don't have a back and forth dialogue, such as when someone attempts to lie during a long speech.
Okay.
So do I just ask to use this at some time when I think somebody could be lying to me? Or
Sure, yeah. If you want to try that.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right here, just to see what's
So
going on.
you don't roll,
that.
I roll. You squint your eyes at him as he says that. You guys look at each other, a little bit of silence lingering in between you. He maintains eye contact, and you mutually stop looking at each other as he starts to go up the stairs, and you feel like he is telling the truth.
Cool.
Waltz and Dax, you see Geldir walking onto the deck of the ship, sipping coffee, goes up to the rails and looks at Mazevo.
Oh, never thought I'd see you again.
Hey, who let you out?
Oh, Catman. Dax is asking questions.
Takes another sip.
Tough will come up from the bottom of the ship. Back outdoors. Outdoor cat.
We were going like 3 minutes. Weird thing to say. Every time you like enter and exit outdoors, like announce
Indoor
the
cat.
environment
Outside.
you're in.
Outside.
Outdoor I'm an inside cat now.
You just-
Back inside.
You just, as soon as we let you in, you turn around to the door and start scratching at it.
Yeah, that's exactly. Just knocking crap off our dressers until we let you in.
Man, that cat's
Man,
a
Tough is the worst.
I would love for Tough to start
His
exhibiting
litter box is right there, and he still
Stuff like
poops
that.
next to it.
just
on
like
the floor.
knocking off counters for no reason.
Dude, I totally want to just start doing stuff like that.
Tough, you let him out. What's that about?
Well, yeah, I mean, the less questions people ask once we get to Mazevo, the better. If they think we've got a prisoner or some guy tying it up for some reason on our ship, I just don't want to draw any attention to us. Better off this way, trust me.
I don't know if I trust you yet, but you do make a good point, so.
Well, that's good enough for me, and I raise my mug into the air and take a sip.
Waltz will just be looking off the ship at the land that they're getting closer and closer to. He notices Geldir, but just trusts that, his friends have a handle on it. If they're not worried about it, neither is he, but he's not going to go out of his way to interact with Geldir.
And as you approach Mazevo and it's getting closer and closer, you can start to notice more subtle details. And there is a massive cliff wall, just an abrupt end to the ocean with just a massive cliff wall approaching. And there seems to be 3 tiers carved into this cliff wall that get smaller on their way up. And there are buildings populating all of these tiers at their various elevations. The lower tier seems to be almost like favela style, many buildings packed in tightly, but they all look very intricate and beautiful. And the second tier gets a little more sparse, the buildings a little finer. And then the third tier, again, even fewer buildings, but they're far grander, immaculate architecture. Very impressive. You can tell these are very important looking buildings. But even below the third tier is a massive hollow cavern. It looks like you're sailing towards a massive cave of sorts below the very first tier.
Tough will call out, hey, Digsby's crew, can we gather up real quick?
Yes, how about over here? Breakfast is ready. I'll start dishing up a bunch of eggs.
This looks good, Jules.
That's right.
Thanks.
Jules, can I have 6 eggs, roughly?
Yes, of course. I used up all the eggs since we're about to make port. Bacon, I assume.
Geldir looks over his shoulder as Walt says 6 eggs and sort of smirks to himself and then looks back.
They're the
Over the
same. Aw, 2 peas.
It's
Yeah.
like when Batman and Superman bonded over Martha and like everything was good. It's like, dude, 6 eggs. Why did you say that many eggs?
You have a mom too?
You like eggs too?
Why did you say that many eggs?
Eggs.
Yeah, we can't kill Geldir, because then what's the point of Waltz, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Benjamin, I didn't prepare any soap because you ate it.
I don't.
For the last time.
Literally never done that. But I am full for unrelated reasons.
Tuff will finish chugging his coffee and slam his mug down on the table. Alright, here's the deal. I gotta make my way off planet eventually to finish off the little dealio I got going with the organization I'm working for. But I got some time before then until the portals realign where I can make my way back that direction. So, what I think we should do before I make off is head into Mazevo and figure out what's going on with what Dunadas was talking about in this journal.
You talking about the keepers?
Yeah, the keepers, all those words you guys heard going through the nodes, the weird misalignment of nodes that brought you guys here, all that stuff.
That's a good idea, Tuff.
I'm in.
There's a few different ways we can get this info from Mazevo. Mazevo's got 3 different tiers within the city. There's the common tier Valos, the middle tier Spidey, and then the upper tier Kyver and Mazevo.
Say Mazevo one more time, Tough.
Tuff will shoot a glare over at Dax. I freaking smart, cobalt. Anyway, there's a library called Controsi in the 3rd tier. It's got all kinds of info and probably has what we need, but it's not available to everyone.
What do you mean?
Well, you need different levels of security clearance in order to get into these different tiers.
Sure.
I'm guessing we don't have clearance?
Well, let's just say it'll probably be challenging for the likes of us. Dax, I'm sure you've been up to all kinds of weird stuff out in Dracus, but they don't monitor it all that well, so you might be in the clear. Jules, all the pirateering, can't say you've got clean hands. And Waltz, that brand you got on your neck, I can't imagine that they give that to people who graduate military school as a gold star out in Billerod.
Waltz will just kind of take his hand and feel his scar. It's been a while since he's thought about that. Yeah, I guess you're right, Tough.
Yeah, that makes
Fair
sense to
enough.
me. I've never done anything I wouldn't do again.
So, if we can't get in that way, how else do we get in?
Well, that's the tricky part. You see, there's a thing called a paratier, essentially a security checkpoint to get into Mazevo. They'll assess your threat level, essentially, and allow you access through these different tiers depending on your level of threat. So Dax, because you might not have anything on you, that could be suspicious in itself, but you might be in the clear. Waltz, well, you might have some explaining to do. Jules, my guess is that you'll have some serious explaining to do. But we only need one person to get into the library, and that's me. And I've got a way to discreetly get myself into that 3rd tier. It just requires some financial persuasion, I guess.
Oh, so it's like that, is it?
Yeah. So it'll cost me about, carry the 2. It'll cost me 400 gold. So if I get 100 gold from each of you, I'll throw in 100 gold of my own. I can get myself in, get the information we need. I'll meet you guys inside, and that's that. And then Tuff claps his hands together.
That's that, huh, Tuff? How assured are you that this persuasion will work? Or are we just going to be out 400 gold?
Tuff looks like he's doing mental math again. Carry the 2. 89.5% sure.
Those are pretty good odds. Sorry, I've been listening. I've been listening the entire time.
Tuff will put his hand on Benjamin. Benjamin, it's probably best that you stay on the ship or go home. I don't really care. Just not Mazevo, that's for sure.
Yeah, I might be in trouble with my boss because the last time I saw almost 20 years ago, and I took the ship and I didn't bring it back. So I got my own stuff to handle when we get there, guys. But don't worry, we'll regroup.
Well, boys, what do you think?
Why don't we see if I can go first? No point in spending money if we don't have to.
Yeah, I'll go with you, Dax. And I'll toss all my gold to Tough.
Nice. And I scoop it in.
You tossed all of your gold to him?
Just 200. He should just need mine, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Whoa, Waltz, I said I just need 100 from each of you.
I'll just take mine. Let them keep theirs.
Generosity is
Waltz.
for suckers. And Tuff just piles the money into his coin purse.
So Tough, I'm assuming based on this that you wouldn't make it very far with the paratier, huh?
And Tuff
Yeah, I
scratches the
thought
top
so.
of his head. Maybe a story for another time.
Sure. But again, why spend the money if we don't have to? Why don't I see if I can get up there?
Yeah, like I said, I feel like you could be in the clear because they're not going to have any info on you. But you just better have a good backstory because if they hear you're from Dracus, they might not take too kindly to that.
Wait, why is that?
Well, you should know. Dracus is full of scoundrels. They're not going to trust anyone from there.
That's a pretty close-minded way of looking at that.
Well, hey, it's not me that's going to be making the assuming, Dax. So, better safe than sorry.
And if they say no?
Well, if your track record's dirty enough, they might just straight up tell you can get on out, in which case, no Mazevo for you. If you're, got some stuff going on in your past, you might just have some watchful eyes over you while you're inside. And if you're clear, you're clear.
All right. Sounds fair.
So, speaking of, Waltz, you sure you don't have anything you want to share right now?
No, I'm sure I'll be fine.
Hey, Tough. It's hard to find anyone in this world with a clean record, am I right?
Yeah, I guess you got a point there.
I suppose, as much as I'm curious about what it would say about me, and I'll kind of look off to the side and grin, suppose it might be better to stay in numbers. So, Tough, if I can join you, it might be better for us all.
That's probably for the best. I know what just you and I have been through together, so I can't imagine what else you've been up to.
Indeed. Alright, so it's decided. Tough and I will go through his financially secure route, and Dax and Waltz are going to the Parrot tier.
Perfect. And Jules, you don't have to go up to the 3rd tier with me. I'm the only one that needs to go to the library, so you're fine with the gold you got just to get into the 1st tier.
Aye, sounds good.
Well, good luck, fellas. We'll see you on the other side, huh?
Likewise.
And as you say that, all of Benjamin's men are preparing the ship for docking as you...
Wait, there's more people on this? I thought it was just us and Benjamin.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a whole crew.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're all just like, hey, Jules, there's like 10 of them.
In unison, it's really creepy.
All right, and with that, you see Benjamin's men preparing the ship to dock as you approach Mazevo, now seeing just how tall this cliffside is, the scale of the city carved into the cliffside. You see the tops of the buildings peeking over the edges of the tiers, and then you near closer, going straight into the cliffside, now losing sight of these buildings as the ship sails into a massive cavern beneath the 3rd tier, as you see many ships docking here as well. You see many traders, travelers, civilians mingling about amongst these docks. You see crowds migrating towards what you would expect to be the Parrot tier, no doubt trying to get into the city, though you do see a few buildings on this side of this supposed Parrot tier. Obviously, people can still visit the city without directly going into it as they trade goods and so on, so there is some infrastructure set up here for visitors. And Benjamin starts to guide the ship into the dock. You know you only have a few moments before you get off, and as you guys prepare, you just see Geldir about 20 feet off in the distance behind you, just sort of looking at his feet, looking anxious, bobbing his head, ready to get off, scanning the crowd, not really paying any of you any mind. Benjamin's men lower the drawbridge. It makes contact with the deck, and Benjamin walks up and says, all right, fellas, I think I'm gonna go try and find my boss, and hopefully he's not here, because then I think the ship's mine. I don't know.
I believe that's how that works.
Finders keepers.
Yeah.
But either way,
Well, that might be a pirate thing, actually. I can't remember.
well, there's a difference between finding and stealing. But yeah, anyway, yeah, regardless, the ship should be docked here. I mean, at least for a few days. It gets more expensive with each day, I tell you. It's ridiculous. But yeah, if you guys need a ship, I'll be here. And then he salutes.
Well, Benjamin, we'll do our best to be quick.
He's holding his salute, waiting for someone to return it.
Waltz will salute Benjamin and say, thanks, Benjamin. You're a great captain.
Yeah, as little as I think of you. You got us here in one piece, and Tough will salute him too.
One Piece, like the anime.
Oh my god!
You
there
mean like
it
the
is.
anime One Piece?
Yeah! Oh, you just got
Yeah,
way
you seen
better.
that play?
No, I don't watch that crap.
Wow, we have more common than I thought, Benjamin.
I'm not a weeb.
Benjamin, have you seen Attack on Titan?
Shut the fuck up about Attack on Titan, Darren.
Wait, we're about to enter a city with 3 tiers, and you've seen Attack on Titan?
Bam ba da 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 ba da da da.
All right. Good luck to you guys.
Good luck, Benjamin. I guess I'll salute him too.
He stopped saluting, but then you started, and then he like excitedly raises his hand to salute you back. He can't believe you just saluted him.
Pokes himself in the eye.
Oh gosh, dang it! Sorry, I've never saluted with so much zeal in my life. Gotta be more careful. All right, fellas, let's unload this soap. Turns to his guys.
So there was more.
There's none left.
Geldir's making his way towards the drawbridge, where you guys are kind of in the way, and you can tell he's very eager.
Let's go, fellas. Aren't you eager to get rid of me?
Well, please, don't let me stand in the way of you moving on.
Behave yourself out there. And Tuffle looked to Jules. They grow up so fast.
Geldir, do you remember what I told you before we went into Forghast's lair?
He looks down, thinking, nodding, and then looks up at you, continuing the nod.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room for redemption.
Is that what this is? Redemption?
That's up to you.
Well, believe it or not, there's a lot more I need to redeem. But not in Mazevo.
You've got to start somewhere. Good luck, Geldir. And then I'll turn away and step to the side of the ship.
Waltz will hear Geldir's voice for what he hopes is the last time, although he deep down does hope that Geldir finds his daughter and wishes him luck. But he won't give him the satisfaction of acknowledging him after all the, I guess, just everything that he's put him and his party through. And Waltz will just step out of the way and keep his eyes on the city, I guess.
Geldir awkwardly clears his throat.
Well, see you, fellas.
He starts to walk down the path you guys have cleared as you stepped out of the way, passes all 4 of you, and then stops just as he's about to descend onto the decks, and slowly looks over his shoulder, only at Waltz, and gives him a subtle nod, and descends down into the docks, and instantly mingles with a large crowd of people, and you lose sight of Geldir.
Do you think we'll ever see him again?
God, I hope not, Jules.
He wasn't all bad.
No, he pretty much was.
You would say that tough.
I mean, the interaction I had him, he was funny.
Can't believe he's still alive. Let's go.
Yeah, you ready, Dax?
After you, big man.
Waltz will look back to Jules and Tuff. Good luck, fellas. And walk off with Dax.
We don't need it. And then Tuff will sling his extendable tail in the air and wave off to Dax and Waltz. Oh yeah, almost forgot. By dusk tonight, let's meet at Fidos.
What is that?
It's a tavern. You'll just look for a sign that says Fidos. It means friend in their dumb elf language or whatever it is. Doesn't matter.
All right, Tuff, we'll see you there.
All right, Dax and Waltz, you make your way into the same crowd you saw Geldir disappear in. There is, of course, many elves here, also a lot of halflings, as Lorthal is the home planet of elves and halflings. But you also see many other ancestries populating the crowds. You can hear lots of chatter, some in different languages, but mostly, in common. And you could overhear people talking about going to the Paratier and making their way in a certain direction. So if that is where you would like to head, you can simply follow these crowds towards the Paratier.
What do you say, Waltz? Just beeline it there?
This is the first time Waltz has been in society, in a community around a lot of people in a while, and I think he might feel a little bit energized by this. And Zach, can I just find somebody who I overhear has said the Paratier?
Yeah, sure.
I'll go up to that person and I'll ask them, "Hey, where's everyone going? Where's the Paratier?"
Huh? Oh, hey, man, what's up? Yeah, hey.
Hey, you just look down and you see a little gnome with pink hair.
Hey, what's your name?
I don't know. What do you think it is? Yes.
You're giving me Charlie vibes from...
You look like a
so I'm just
The
touching
hands
my
on the
duke.
hips.
Like
You
a
look
duke?
like a duke. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Duke,
Something tells me this
looking for
guy's
the,
not getting through the Paratir.
Duke, I'm looking for the Paratir. Where do I go, buddy?
Yeah, bud, over this way. I'm heading that way myself. You want to go?
Dex, we're following my buddy Duke here.
That's
All
my
right.
name.
How's it going, Duke?
It's going good, man. What's up?
Oh, living the dream.
Dex here is from a miserable planet, Duke.
I
Whoa.
said living the dream. I get it. Like, kind of just that, like, humor, you know? Yeah.
Right.
Disingenuine humor. I like it. Is that your style?
You could call it that, sure. Tell me,
I
Duke,
will.
is it always this busy here?
Yeah, man, this is Mazevo. What do you think? Capital city of Lorthal, man.
A lot of people.
I know, right? Isn't it great? It's when it's really good to be small, you know, you can weave through the crowds. You know what I'm talking about.
That'll give Dax a light bulb moment, kind of a, you know, of some potential advantages to being in a group of this many people. He didn't experience that hardly ever in Dracus. So this is a very alien feeling to him, being hidden in plain sight, so to speak. So, yeah, Dax is just going to kind of ruminate on that while they make their way to the Paratir.
You know, since you overheard me say in Paratir, that probably means there's a second person here. Who is, right here.
And then a human
You
walks
did this
up.
to yourself.
Hey, what
Hey,
are
how's
you?
it going? I'm Waltz.
Okay, what do you think my name is?
Zach is who it sounds like.
No, it's not Zach. It's slightly different. So
Is it Knack?
Heck.
it's actually
You
Tack.
sound like... Oh, all right.
So yeah,
Tack,
I'm
where
with
do you live?
Duke.
What's your address?
I'm not giving that away.
See, I told you, Tack, you should talk to more people. You'll make friends.
Well, you do all the talking for me, Tack.
That's true. Come on, guys, let's go.
All right, let's go. Hey, how's the food here in Mazevo? Jack, how do you like the food?
I'm gonna start to explain that while we switch over to Tough. And wait, now I'm being way too meta. I sound like Zach as I'm doing that. Oh yeah, you know the food's pretty good. And with that, we're gonna jump. So I don't have to start explaining cuisine. We're gonna jump over to.
Oh, I was getting excited.
Yeah, the best part of
I
the
felt like
episode.
this was what we were all building towards. So.
Yeah.
Jump back over to Jules and Tough. So Tough, you know where you need to go.
All right, Jules, should we make our way?
As long as you know where we're going.
Tough will flip a coin up in the air and catch it. We are going to get a drink.
I like your style, Tough. For a second, I thought you were flipping a coin to see which way we were going to go, and that wasn't going to be reassuring, but I like this. This is great.
No, you wouldn't trust that I know where we're going?
I've spent enough time with you to know you're an idiot.
When have I ever led us down the wrong path, Jules?
We do
Wait,
have the time.
Don't answer that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's this way.
All right. After you.
And Tuff will start making his way towards Krivo's cavern, a tavern in this cavern.
That's right. So as you guys are walking around, you notice it's nice and shaded in here, and all the light is coming out from the sea, obviously, because it's a big, massive, open cavern, but it feels cozy in here despite the very high ceilings, but there is a subtle echo of the waves crashing near the docks and just the chatter bouncing off the massive cavern walls. But there is lots of vegetation and moss and things like that growing along all the rocks in here, and it looks very beautiful and like well kept. And
That's
there
awesome.
is
I want to go to this place.
little rivers trickling down in the cavern, adding ambience, and just a really nice, relaxing way to arrive to Mazevo, man. And you guys make your way to Krivo's cavern, which is a dimly lit, humble-looking tavern near the fringes of this cavern. So Tough, you've never gained entry to Mazevo this way, and you've mostly just like heard about it from other people in your travels, but it's your understanding you need to go to the bar and display a certain symbol subtly that you either etch on a napkin or some other form that looks like a quarter circle that ends in an upward point. It's a very simple looking symbol. You don't really know what it means, but it's your understanding that it's secret speech in some way. You're more just copying what you were told. And then you need to order a drink called Mystico. And the number of shots of this you order is how many tiers you want. And then you need to drink these, and it'll enable you to gain entry through the common entrance.
Does Jules need to do this separately then?
Yes.
All right. Tuff will put his hands on his hips and stretch out his back and look over to Jules. Reminds you of the salty sailor back on Aquaria, doesn't it?
As a matter of fact, you're right.
Yeah, no need for you to put on a show here, though.
Yes, I suppose we do need to keep a low profile.
You guys crest the doorway. It's very quiet in here. It's dimly lit with a few torches, very somber vibe. Again, not much light in the cavern you just came from, plus it's dimly lit. So it has a very calm, almost like speak-easy vibe, though the volume is somewhat above that, of course. And there's lots of interesting looking figures in here, mostly keeping to themselves or having quiet conversations. And you see a fine wooden bar top across the room if you want to go order any drinks.
Tuff will kind of scan the environment. Scratch that salty sailor comment. Guess I expected it to be a little more lively.
I assumed you've been here before.
That was my first time getting in through Mazevo this way, so I'm not going to say we're winging it, but we might be winging it a little more than I implied.
Well, I guess that's what you and I do best.
You're darn right. Anyway, follow my lead here. I'm going to order 3 of something. Listen close, you're ordering 1. Got it?
You got it, Tuff.
3 for me to get into the 3rd tier. You only need to get into the 1st. 1 for you.
The first tier?
Yeah, like I said, only one of us needs to go to the library. I'm not even sure if you know how to read.
What am I supposed to do after you go into 2nd and 3rd?
Go find Dax and Waltz.
Well, why am I even doing this in the first place?
That's what I was wondering.
This very much seems like friends, just like, well, that's not fair.
Besides, you and I both know you wouldn't have gotten past the para tier.
Maybe I'll just stay here and drink then. Maybe I'll order whatever the heck I want.
You expect me to come back for you?
You look over, and there's just some guy at his table giving you a very sassy shush. And then he looks back.
Tuff
at his
looks
drink.
back. You shush. Can't you see we're having a
shush
conversation?
We shush simultaneously back.
We both keep shushing him.
This will be great for the headphone users.
Oh, yeah.
Just makes me think of that Always Sunny episode where they get shushed, and like the entire episode is about finding who shushed him. That's the new campaign.
Tuff will turn away from this shusher and recompose himself.
Whatever, Tuff. Just let's order.
Yeah, like I said, follow my lead. And Tuff will start waltzing towards the bar, all confident in himself.
Jules is kind of grumbling over there.
Tuff will hop up onto a bar stool and just kind of look down both ends, looking for the bartender.
Jules, do you take a seat as well?
I'll go and I'll lean up against the bar, but I won't sit.
So the two of you are at the bar, look around, don't really see a bartender yet. You assume one would show up shortly. And as you're standing there, you see the door of the tavern open for a moment. A little bit of light from outside casting a silhouette. You might for a brief moment think you were looking at Dax. And then the door closes behind and your eyes adjust and you see a blue kobold with a more round face and horns pointing straight backwards, limping into the bar. Son of a... Walks up to the bar, climbs up on the seat, gives each of you a little glance and then looks forward. And then you see this kobold dig into a pouch he has and pull out some parchment, breathing heavily. Takes out what looks like a piece of chalk and looks at each of you up and down and squints and slides the paper away just a little bit, turning his shoulder, and etches something on the piece of paper and then covers it with his hand. And what you assume is the bartender walks out. It's a very large, muscular-looking bald man, human, with a thick mustache, very hairy forearms. He throws the towel over his shoulder, looks at all three of you, and then his gaze locks on this kobold sitting at the bar. Walks up. What can I do you for? And then he opens his hand and shows something on the paper, and he goes,
2 Mysticos.
And he tilts his head backwards, nods, and then he says, You got the funds?
What do you think, moron? I wrote on the paper, didn't I?
And then he looks at the two of you. How about you two?
Tough will kind of snap back to reality and start feeling around his body really quick. Open up his forearm compartment, pull out a piece of paper and his pen, and write that symbol on it. And then I'll jut my thumb to the side and point at Jules. For him too.
Are you guys together? Like gesturing to the kobold as well. The kobold's eyes grow wide, and then he leans forward looking at your guys' paper as well, and then looks the two of you up and down.
Yeah, they're with me.
And that is where we'll end our
Wait, hold on.
session.
What
What do you mean, hold on?
I didn't
What do
agree
you
to
mean-
this.
What do you mean, hold on, bro?
Go on, Adam. Zach,
Shut
let Adam talk.
Shut up. Even your dog's barking. Your
Let
dog's
him
barking. Your
talk.
dog wants you to shut up, dude. Okay, we'll talk about that in the downtime, which is for patrons, where we react to the most recent episode.
I want to talk now.
So, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. That was a fun episode. And yeah, just per new tradition, I just want to read some comments, stuff we see online, stuff that encourages us to keep going as a way to thank you for writing it, and then also a way to thank the crew. So yeah, we recently have started launching some YouTube videos, like aside from the podcast itself, just trying to like branch out our content and do some more tabletop RPG related content. And just first of all, I gotta say, like, I know at least in the videos we've released, like I'm in them, but all of Adam's like incredible artwork is filling it. He's like making all the thumbnails. Like I'm constantly using his stuff as reference. So like all of our branding and all of our stuff that's on there, like the shirt I'm wearing in it, like was designed by him. So like ton of work. And whenever he helps me with that, it distracts him from his like session sketches and like all of the cool portraits he's making, like this big movie poster we made for the art and all that stuff like that. So yeah, ton of work right there. And then also like when I'm doing like the video stuff, I like can't help like at all with editing at all, because normally I just like kind of help with QC and stuff, but like Joel and Taryn have had like a ton more work like ever since I've started doing that. So like I can only do that because they're doing all that, and then obviously I'm using like Ryan's music. So just I just want to thank like you guys again, because like I wouldn't have anything to like put in these videos if it wasn't for you guys. And like we wouldn't be able
thanks,
to
Zach.
like branch out and try and do this other content if you guys weren't like increasing your workload to like maintain like all the podcast stuff. And then obviously then you guys like give me a ton of awesome feedback and things like that. So love you guys.
Worth it for
Love
the
you guys
banger of the video that
so
you made,
much.
Zachary.
Dude, you made such an awesome video.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing that.
Super well done.
So yeah, the one we've released so far was just a thing with like some combat encounter design tips. Anyway, the main thing I want to say is just like you guys coming out and commenting on this stuff. A lot of our like views are from people that aren't subscribers, so it may not be people that listen to the podcast, but if you do listen to the podcast and you're commenting on that, it's really, really helping us out because we're branching out into new territory, and likes, comments, and all that stuff really help the algorithm. So I guess I'm gonna find someone that I know maybe is a listener. Okay. So there's a guy. Yeah, there's a guy. I can't remember his Reddit username, but he always like signs off with like freeze and pee. And for the longest time, we had like no idea what the heck that was. We're like, why does this guy end all of his Reddit comments with freeze and pee? But we loved getting comments from him, and it was just like so cool. And then he just commented on the YouTube video, and guess what his YouTube username was? Freeze and pee. And he said, "Very good video, Zach Arneski," with what as one word. And then he just said, "Make more." So you gave me a new name, man. I really appreciate it. Zach Arneski as one word. Really, really
I
appreciate
was
it.
dying laughing when you sent us that.
Yeah, I was like, dude, so cool. And yeah, let's give a shout out to Z3DT because he was the first to comment on our first YouTube video, and his comment was first. You did it, bro.
Classic.
You did it, man. So proud of you guys. But yeah, there's tons of really
Mad
cool
Lad
comments
did
on
it.
there. It means a lot to us to like read that stuff. And just hearing that you guys got something out of the content is really, 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 really cool as we navigate the trials and tribulations of the algorithm. So thank you for your help and
Say
support.
content
And we
one
love
more
you
time,
guys.
Zach.
Say content one more time. Yep. And yeah, we will see you next time, mortals.
Peace.
Zach, how many eggs do we actually have? Because
Enough. I don't know.
enough.
Couldn't-
How many eggs
do not
are?
care
What's the
how many-
standard amount of eggs?
When
on
you
a-
went
on a
into this
ship?
session, you didn't write down how many eggs we have?
Yeah, we need inventory, Zach.
ChatGPT, how many eggs? Session prep. Emergency. You have as many
Well,
eggs
you'll-
as you need, dude. Like, what are you?
All right.
Is this important? Do you want to like figure out how to ration the eggs?
6 eggs for one person seems like a ton.
When he's freaking hungry, dude.